This is Monday Matinee, where I go into the movie theaters on a dead Monday afternoon and watch a recent movie that came out. Then I come home and tell you what I think about it. I know it's not Monday, but I account for 90% of my viewership, so I think it'll be okay. This week I went and saw Ouija, Origin of Evil. Ouija is about a family in the 1960s California who runs a seance scam. They bring in a family who recently experienced a death, convince them that they're speaking to that person, and assure them that that person is okay and comfortable in the afterlife. We find a mother and her two daughters as they deal with the recent death of their father, and after adding a Ouija board to their act, the youngest daughter, Doris, begins to channel spirits through it. She makes contact with her deceased father as well as some other unsavory souls. I went into Ouija with no expectations. I hadn't seen any reviews or read anything about it, and I really didn't even know that it was out beside hearing it in passing from other people. And I'd kind of already written it off. The first one got terrible reviews and I skipped it a few years ago when it came out, and I assumed this one would be the same. But after looking through Google for a movie to find and seeing that this one was getting pretty decent reviews on IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes, I decided to check it out, and it did not disappoint. This is the best possession movie I've seen since the first Conjuring movie. It was very good, had a great 60s atmosphere that would come through both very obviously and had very subtle hints to it, like how there would be the projectionist marks in the top right of the screen, which were in older movies to signify when the projectionist needed to change reels. That was a very nice touch, I thought. The cast was also great. The youngest girl I was very displeased with in the early parts of the movie, as I thought of her as just your typical mediocre child actor who couldn't really deliver acting when she would talk about the weightier topics like her father's death. But I was grossly mistaken, as her mental deterioration after she begins contact with the voices was amazing. Creepy children are a thing that really gets to me in horror, and she killed it. Her devoid persona and chilling glares to directly contrast her upbeat naivete from the early acts stole the show from me. It also presents its horror in a very unique way. It usually puts things in the background, which is I very much enjoyed that. When the younger daughter brings the boy down to the basement to reach into the wall for her, you see her face transform, even though it's out of focus and in the background, you can see it transform and start to twitch, and that's something that you miss if you're not paying attention. And I wouldn't be surprised if I miss several things throughout the movie too. I really enjoyed that part of it. It was also very suspenseful. Most of the movie was spent building up an extreme sense of anxiety, and even when there would be a release or a jump scare, that wouldn't necessarily go away. It would almost directly go back into putting you on the edge of your seat again. It wasn't until the very end of the movie that you finally got that release and you could take that deep breath. It was very good in that sense. It didn't overly rely on jump scares, but when it did decide to use one, it would do it in a very creative way. One of my favorites was when the little girl, the youngest girl, was sleeping. After she started to experience the pain in her neck, you could see her squirming in her bed, very discomforted, and the camera starts to pan away from her, and you expect either the door to open or to see something in the window, something in the background like how it had been doing throughout the movie, but instead she wakes up suddenly and bursts into frame, and it startles you because you weren't expecting that, because it doesn't use a lot of jump scares. So I appreciate it when a movie can find unique ways to use a jump scare, because jump scares are a very easy way to startle the audience, because they're so abrupt and sudden, and they're just kind of easy. So it's nice to see someone use it in a new way. Overall, I really enjoyed Ouija, Origin of Evil. This has been a really good year for horror movies, in my opinion, with Witch and Conjuring 2 coming out earlier in this year, but this one was still very good, and I would give it a 7 to a light 8. I would definitely recommend seeing it this Halloween. Best horror movie to come out this month for sure. I'd highly recommend it. That's all for today. Come back next week and I'll see you.